I would like to read a verse from Isaiah 53, starting from 10. But the Lord was pleased to crush him, putting him to grief, if he would render himself as a guilt offering. Guilt offering. He will see his offspring, he will prolong his days, and the good pleasure of the Lord will prosper in his hand. Guilt offering. I would like just to go back to Leviticus 16, where it was told to Aaron about two goats. One, and Aaron would have to throw the lots, and one goat, as we call Azazel, or the scapegoat, would carry away the sins of the people. And as the verse in Leviticus 16:22 saying, the goat shall bear on itself all the iniquities to the solitary land, and he shall release the goat in the wilderness. This is a reminder how the God was preparing his people for the ultimate atonement, ultimate sacrifice. And he said in the verse 11, as a result of anguish of his soul, he will see it and will be satisfied by his knowledge, the righteous one. My servant will justify many. So the Jewish people should ask when they celebrate New Year right now, or on 29th, the Yom Kippur, what's happened with this? What's happened? Who can take? Who carried the sins for me? Who took this guilt? Who is this righteous servant, righteous one the Lord is talking about? My servant, the Lord said, will justify many. How he was able to justify? Because he was sinless. And we are born in sin. We're born under the curse. From the beginning of the time, God has planned. From before creation of the earth, he had a plan. How he will redeem the humankind. And the Jewish people had to be the one he will use, that Savior, the Messiah, Moshiach, will come through the line of David, through the son of Ben David, as he will bear the iniquities of many. And the verse 12 saying, therefore I will allow him a portion with the great, and he will divide the booty with the strong, because he poured out himself to the death, or he poured out his nephesh to the death, and was numbered with transgressors. Yet he himself bore sin of many, and interceded for the transgressors. He did that nasa, he carried out the sins of many, and he was guiltless, he was blameless. He was the one on whom all the for generation after generation, the Jewish people put their hope. And he came in the due time through the virgin birth, as Isaiah 9:6 predicted, as Isaiah 7:14 predicted, that he will come through the virgin birth, that he will come and he will, as Isaiah 9:6 saying, that the child will be born to us, the son will be given to us, and the government will rest on his shoulders, and his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty One, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace. And no wonder the nations or the people don't have that peace, because they never invited this King of Peace into their heart. They never relied on him. And only he is the only one who can bring that peace. He is the only one who carried our guilt, our shame, our sorrows, our sicknesses, our diseases on, and was nailed to the tree. And this is the one we celebrate. And how we can substitute any other substitute, chicken or whatever, for the blood of the righteous one, or Emmanuel, the God with us, who came through the virgin birth, and he chose the Jewish girl. He chose a Jewish girl to use her womb to come into this world, grew up as a man, be called Son of Man. This is the name he preferred of all. And his ministry lasted really 3 years. But he, the one who the Lord prepared from foundation of the world, and he is the one of whom the Lord spoke, and he is the one whose blood could carry this and pay for the sins of many, because the life of the flesh is in the blood. And I have given it to you, as Leviticus 17:11 saying, on the altar, to make atonement for the souls. For it is the blood by reason of it is the blood, but the reason of the life that makes atonement. This is maybe fancy word, atonement, but it is really what Lord did for us. He took a substitute for the guilty, and the guiltless took our place. Instead of Barabas on that tree, and Barabas is each of us. It's each of us, because we're all rebels. We're all due on that tree between those two thieves. This is a tree for each of us, for every human being who's been born. We belonged on that tree, but he took that place for us. In the God's provision. And he took that place for us in 2,000 years ago, more than 2,000 years ago. And we see two examples how the people can react to him. One thief on the left and one thief on the right. And one who discerned in God's mercy that he was a sinless who was nailed to the tree. And Yeshua told him, this day you will be with me in paradise. And another who didn't have God's grace and discernment to see what was happening next to him on that tree. And the two ways for these two men were different. And the same way it's for each of the people who will gather around the Passover table. You have a choice to reject that God's gift, God's choice, God's way of salvation, or accept it. And Yeshua said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He is the embodiment of truth, the embodiment of the life. And he took our curse, and he nailed it to the tree. And this is your choice for today. If you will call upon his name and invite him in your life, and ask to forgive and wash you clean by his blood, and ask that this bloodline will cleanse you and generations after generations yet to come, and you will be saved. You're asking, why do I need to be saved? From what? I have to be saved from the curse which is on every human being who's been born. We're under the curse, and he is the only one who broke that and took that curse for us. And I hope that you will call upon his name today. In Yeshua's name I pray.
Wonderful.